Alright, I am back with another Avengers video, which is kind of good news for a change with a bunch of caveats attached to it. No major news regarding future content for the game itself, as we are supposed to have both a Wakandan raid and Spider-Man out within 2 months here, and have not heard anything really about either of them. But this is the resolution of a problem that blossomed 3 weeks ago now regarding the sale of XP boosters and materials resource boosters in the microtransaction store. Players were pretty upset about this because it went directly opposed to what they had said in the past, that they would not have pay-to-win elements there and that the cosmetic store would be just for cosmetics. This was a very weird controversy because it was probably the most pushback I've seen about something regarding Avengers in a very long time, and they said nothing about it. Just nothing. They would publish their weekly blog posts. They wouldn't even mention it. They would just say that, like, the following week, they just had the boosters for sale again in the exact same format, saying nothing. And people were just kind of, like, moving on, and they just debuted some new MCU skins, and, like, I wouldn't say people forgot about it, but it just seemed like the tactic here was, like, we're just going to ignore this and hope people forget about it and then move on to the next thing. But 3 weeks later, as of yesterday, they released a new statement saying that they were going to delete these, and by the end of the day yesterday, they did delete them. So here's what the statement says. It says, "We apologize for not responding sooner to your concerns about the addition of paid consumables in the marketplace." Evie just ran in here. Okay. "We introduced them as an option for an evolving player base and did not see them as pay to win since they don't offer power directly." I'm going to pause here because I don't agree with this in any sense of things. Like, I guess this is kind of a matter of semantics, because this is the old adage about, like, is there ever really a win scenario in a pay to, or in a PvE based game? So, like, is there winning if I am more powerful than my neighbor, since we're not competing directly against each other, or since there are no PvP components here? So that's, like, kind of up for debate, but, like, the general rule is, like, if you are paying to receive more power, that is essentially pay to win, even though winning might be nebulous. They say, "We did not see them as pay to win since they don't offer power directly," and yet, like, very clearly they do. Like, I don't know how you can read it that way. So either you are under the cap of 50 and the XP booster gets you to higher levels faster, and higher levels unlock better gear, more skills. That's power. If you're at the 50 cap, because of the, like, Paragon champion system they put in, if you get more XP faster through boosts, you are getting the plus percentages to each of your stats, which I think caps at around essentially plus 15% to every kind of stat in the game if you max them all. So, like, that is literally power. I don't know. Like, they are not selling, I guess, valuable items per se. They are selling the materials to upgrade valuable items in a separate kind of booster, but, like, this is selling power. I don't know how you could have read this as not selling power. Okay, back to the statement. "After considering your feedback, we've decided that by the end of today, we will remove Heroes Catalyst and Fragment Extractors for purchase. They will continue to be earnable rewards, and those already owned are still usable. We hope that this can be the first step in rebuilding your confidence in us as a team. It continues to be our goal to make the very best game possible. Thank you for being a part of the Marvel's Avengers community." Okay, so I think there are two ways to interpret this. There's a charitable way to interpret this and a less charitable way. Charitable way is that, okay, they had some discussions. They decided that it would be a good idea to listen to community feedback, and they weren't going to take any half measures. They were just going to delete these for sale, and they agreed that they did something wrong. The less charitable explanation here is that this was 3 weeks ago. So they had kind of slid into slipping these into, like, bundles and stuff before this, but then 3 weeks ago is when they put just, like, all of these for sale. And that was when the backlash started. And they have said nothing literally for 3 weeks until this statement. The less charitable explanation is that they were just waiting to see how they sold, especially with Avengers now being on Xbox Game Pass. They were seeing if new players would buy them to kind of, like, speed level or something, and then they figured out that these weren't selling as well as maybe they thought they would, or not selling anywhere near as well as skins. So there was no point keeping them up and upsetting the community. So they thought they can take them down and try and win back some community points, even though this probably just should have never been done in the first place. This could have been like a sales-driven thing, given that they had 3 weeks of data to sift through. And if they did poorly, there was really no reason to keep selling them and keep upsetting the fan base. I can't guarantee that. Like, maybe they were selling extremely well and they're, cutting off their arm to please the fan base. But, like, that is definitely how some people are going to view this. And we don't really know the answer to that. This reminds me, kind of their explanation here of, and they've said this in the past, where, like, they kind of viewed these as a mechanism for players who are just kind of joining the game now to help, like, catch them up to current day. And I had a conversation with them a long time ago, back when we were previewing some of the past patches and I think Black Panther stuff, and I asked them if they were going to do anything to kind of bridge the gap between when they introduce a new hero who just starts at level 1 and it's like so far behind your heroes that are 50, 150. It's such like a ridiculously long journey to level something up to get, to the new max. So, like, are they going to do anything to, like, speed that up a bit? And they said that they were going to have a system in place, not by Black Panther, but probably by Spider-Man. And I assume this would be some sort of, like, in-game thing, but now what I'm thinking is maybe that this was their idea. Like, this was their idea for, like, catching up and bridging the gap, where you could, like, these boosts would help you power level. I guess you could also say that this, this might be what they were thinking with the double and quadruple XP things, is that also helps speed things along. I was personally referring more to the gear grind, which I think is a lot longer. Like, the 1 to 50 stuff, I don't think has ever really been that big of a deal, and, like, any amount of boosts, make that go pretty quickly. But it's like the gear score thing to 150 is the kind of interminable grind. So that's what I was referring to, and this doesn't really address that. But I do wonder if this was kind of one of their catch-up mechanic ideas that actually they monetize, which I didn't see coming. But so that's what they're doing here. And I bet they're pretty frustrated because, like, other games have done this in the past. Like, I think at one point Destiny was selling an item that would, like, back when there were actual levels, would, like, level you to 30 or something, like an alternate character to 30 instantly, so you could kind of jump into whatever. And, like, this certainly isn't the first game to sell XP boosts. I think it's a combination of just, like, the timing of it, and then the fact that they had specifically said they weren't going to do stuff like this. I think that was the main issue here. I don't know what is kind of being planned from here. I heard there might be something bigger going on with the blog post this Thursday, and maybe it's time to start previewing actual content, whether it's the Wakandan raid or Spider-Man. I've heard through the grapevine that, like, some people over there aren't the most pleased with me. I think it has to do with, like, the videos I made, kind of critiquing them for the whole selling XP boost thing. If that's the case, I don't know if I'm still invited to things or not, like these pre-briefs I used to get invited to. But, like, come on, like, clearly I wasn't off in criticizing that, and they ended up, agreeing with the community and with me that this was, like, not a good thing, and this is something that broke community confidence and community trust. Like, that's all I was saying. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but as of now, I don't have any insider heads up about things. There's just kind of rumblings that, like, maybe this week we're going to hear something significant. Spider-Man did not show up at the Sony third-party State of Play thing. Pretty much nothing important showed up at that show, so that's not the biggest of surprises. This is going to be a challenging window for them, I think, just generally outside of this whole XP nonsense. The Wakandan raid, I'm concerned about mostly because of the size of the player base and how hard it kind of is to find a coherent team for activities in the game. And if this is, like, kind of the most advanced raid they have with, like, actual puzzles and stuff you need actual coordination for, I am concerned about that aspect of it with the current state of the player base. Also, this is when they are raising the level cap, and I believe only, like, the highest power cap items drop from the raid. I think that is the only place to get them, which is a whole other can of worms. We'll see how that goes, but that worries me to some extent, and I don't know if, like, a cap raise is really the thing they need at the moment here. And then Spider-Man, obviously, the main issue there is the fact that it's PlayStation only, and that has been a controversy from the start. And I don't know what the reaction is going to be when, I think the biggest subsection of the Avengers player base is on PlayStation, and yet it is still going to hurt when there's finally a new character and a very beloved one like this, and it's only on PlayStation. Like, that's a very kind of 3-4 years ago thing where there's exclusive content for one platform. That practice has not died per se, but it has certainly been reduced, and we don't see that much anymore. So it's not great. I'm certainly looking forward to hearing what they're doing in 2022. We are supposed to get a roadmap for at least part of 2022 before the end of this year. There's rumors that She-Hulk is the next hero, something like that. I don't know. That would be cool. I would be down with that. But I do think this is going to be a tough stretch of time for them between the Raid and Spider-Man. As curious as I am to play those, I can see those creating some issues on their own. But anyway, we've deleted the XP boosters. Yay. Like, this whole controversy did not need to happen in the first place and was easily avoidable and predictable. But here we are. So if there is any big Avengers news this week, I will cover that here probably, or an article or something. Avengers videos seem to do better than Avengers articles for whatever reason. Not sure, maybe that's because people are normally talking about the cinematic Avengers on Google or stuff, and videos are more likely to find this for the actual community that's left. But I don't know. So I might do some more of these in the future depending on what gets revealed. Until then, probably just some more skins and things. Skins lately have been really good. The werewolf Captain America skin, very good. Stuff like that. So anyway, we'll see what happens, and this saga has concluded, and hopefully we don't have anything come up like this again. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.